Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life, and we finally have the official detailed testing report for the second half of 2021 from Root Metrics. So I wanted to do a quick summary, quick overview of the testing, give you guys my thoughts, and then, of course, you guys will give your thoughts in the comment section down below. So just to touch on a few points, T-Mobile is hitting almost at the 2-year anniversary of the merger integration. This year, April, it will be the first full 2 years that they are in on the merger integration. So just keep that in mind as we go through this testing or as we check the results. So Neville Ray's approach always for every single network generation that he's been a part of, HSPA, LTE, 5G, his approach is always build from the inside out. Always. That's always been his approach. He tells his team, we build from the inside out. Always. So with that being said, as we get into the testing and to the results, T-Mobile did improve at the metro level with that approach. They did improve 100%. They are the fastest network across the board. There's no more disputing that. That's coming from Ookla, OpenSignal, Umlaut, now RootMetrics. They are the fastest downlink in the United States. That is a fact now across the board. That is from crowdsourced scientific testing. Everybody's now backing that up. So as we get into the overall tally scored, this may actually surprise some of you. AT&T tied Verizon, as far as I can remember, for the first time ever. So the investments from AT&T are showing proof, and not so much at the urban core in the metro areas. It's more so at the state level where AT&T kind of took that commanding lead. And that just naturally came with the first net investment. They went big. They put up a lot of new towers. They caught up in coverage. And it shows in the testing. They tied overall. So that goes reliability, speed, data, calling. You know, AT&T kind of took over those scores at the state level. So they pulled it off. They went big. And they were able to tie Verizon. Now, Verizon is not going to let that allow that to go on for too long. They're going to fight back. They are also kind of taking that inside out approach. So right now they're heavily involved in the metro areas with C-band, but eventually they're going to move outwards, and they're going to start modernizing the rural sites. They're going to start putting fiber to those sites versus previously microwave backhaul. They're going to start adding C-band, CBRS in some cases. So they're going to go big in these areas, and it's going to be a fight, a competitive fight between AT&T and Verizon. Now, T-Mobile, not so much yet. They are still behind at the state level, 100%. They're catching up in the metro areas. They're inching a bit closer to AT&T in that regard, and they are the fastest. But there are other categories that they still struggle in on the state level. They still struggle with calling at the state level. That represents what we've been talking about, that fair coverage. So in a lot of areas, they have coverage, but it's very thin. So you can, at the edge of the cell site where the coverage is fringe in that rural environment, it can be tough to make a call, and it shows in the score. They have a very low score at calling. They still have a tough time with the 5th percentile testing. T-Mobile still struggles on that. And then everything else, they do score a bit lower on the data, the speed, the reliability. Like I said, the speed category is not all about just raw throughput and speed. It also has to do with how quickly can you access the network, how quickly can you load the network, is there any lag on the network, is there uplink, can you use the uplink, can you download a file very quickly. So all of that is taken into consideration when RootMetrics does their testing. Are you able to get speeds and throughput during a phone call? So all of that is RootMetrics tests rigorously. They test it very, very rigorously. So again, as you will see here, some of the key takeaways from RootMetrics. So as you see the speeds here, Verizon and At&T kind of going back and forth with the median downlink. On average, T-Mobile is the fastest, as I mentioned. And there's a very important takeaway here from RootMetrics. And as you can see, T-Mobile has continued to improve its results outside of major metropolitan areas. So again, T-Mobile is improving. It's a fact. They're improving outside of the metro. So we're starting to see that work take place, but it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. So in 2020, 2021, that was likely all metro work in terms of upgrading, modernizing, getting low band to all the sites. And that's, of course, still scaling. So the metro is going to get better in the first half of this year, and in the second half of this year, the metro scores should be a lot more closer than ever. Now, as T-Mobile moves into rural, which is also happening this year, their state scores should improve. I would say gradually. I don't think they're going to have a massive improvement over the next 12 months. They'll gradually increase every half that they test. I still think they need all of 23, maybe even 24 to really gain on that testing. And I'll show you guys why here. So, mobile performance across the 50 states. If you look at the results before, the award tallies at the state score, as you can see, T-Mobile is far behind. So AT&T's at 244, Verizon at 239 total awarded. T-Mobile's at 26. That is, if T-Mobile had 100, 150, I would give you, okay, maybe in 12 months, maybe 18. But they are drastically behind in that testing. Drastically. Just to put it in perspective, Verizon and AT&T almost have as many awards at the state level as T-Mobile has in the metro areas. Just to put that in perspective. So T-Mobile got work to do. They got a lot of work to do. And it goes in line with what many of you say, that at the rural level where you're driving, where you may be vacationing, visiting family, you're still telling me T-Mobile has problems and they struggle, and RootMetrics is saying the same. And this is from scientific testing. So these are people that are driving with the software that are testing the networks. So it goes in line with what many of you are saying, that T-Mobile is still behind. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they are improving. Maybe not at a good clip, but they're improving. So that's the positive takeaway from that they are improving, and I think they will get gradually better each half of the testing of RootMetrics. Now, for the metro area performance, now, like I said, T-Mobile is improving, but they're not really quite there yet, comparatively speaking, to the competition. So out of, I believe it's 835 total, Verizon got 756, AT&T 494, and T-Mobile 265. So again, even there, although they are improving, as you can see, still behind. So there's still more work for T-Mobile to do. They're going to have to fix the back end. They're going to have to fix the routing, the transport. They have to really go big. It's coming. It's getting better, but it's going to still take an immense amount of time to get this network up and running to where it is that standard of excellence. Again, like I mentioned in a lot of videos previously, Verizon and AT&T have been investing a similar volume of CapEx throughout LTE. That is just hard to make up for a carrier that just merged or is 2 years in on a merger where they barely started spending a significant amount of more capital. And that capital is being put to work on something that's going to take time. These Sprint sites, these Sprint keep sites up, being upgraded, that's going to take time. It's just not going to happen overnight. So they're going to take several more years, I think, to really gain on the competition. Not saying that they're not usable now. They are usable. I mean, I use them on a day-to-day and they work. But if I had to go travel the country, I would probably still take Verizon or At&T over T-Mobile 100% of the time. At the metro suburban area, I don't think the difference is too noticeable for many now. It's getting the scores are getting much, much closer at that level. But once you travel, the difference is still there in a big way. So then I will leave the rest of this in the description for you guys to check out. There's some very interesting stuff. In terms of the median download speeds, again, that's T-Mobile is decreasing there as well at the 10, 20, 30 megabits levels. And then it gets better at the median 40, 50 to 50 plus. They did drastically increase that. But again, there goes that consistency. It just looks like there's a big drop off. You have that speed, and then when you get to certain areas, it looks like there's a huge drop off in speed. And that's what that median downlink testing shows. So you could go from an area where you're at 150 and then all of a sudden you're down to 10 megabits. So that consistency is also still not 100% there for T-Mobile. But again, they're going to improve. They're going to get better. The first half, we can compare to this score, to these scores. And then the second half as well, we can compare that to these scores or even the first half of 22 scores. And we will see them improve. They will get better. There's more low band going on sites that have only been mid band. There's more N41 going up. The backhaul situation, I'm still confused on that because I'm getting told many different things internally. It looks like the merger integration costs that are remaining, the decommissioning, the turning off the network, they're going to front the bill with the operation, the OPEX. So that's going to increase OPEX significantly. There's about $5 billion left to pay down to get that network shutdown to happen. And then apparently after that, they're going to start increasing the backhaul nationwide. So there's still some time to wait. I know there's some areas where you have started seeing that increase, but it looks like to get that at scale nationwide more evenly to where all areas have the same backhaul increase likely will take some more time for T-Mobile to achieve that because of that OPEX situation. It's very loaded right now because they are handling the decommissioning, the turning off the networks, the 3G, the 2G, the HSPA with the OPEX. So we'll see what happens over time. T-Mobile is improving, but they're still behind. They are still behind the competition, and we will see if the capital that they're investing now is enough to get them closer to that competition. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this testing. I will leave this article in the description down below, or this testing in the description down below, so you guys can check it out. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.